The Aryan Khan crackdown has spawned what can only be described as a Maha-dangal in the state of Maharashtra. It's no longer a drug crackdown, it's an all-out political face-off. On your screens right now are the four big characters in this Maha-Aghadi versus BJP dangal being played out in Maharashtra. Number one, Aghadi Minister Nawab Malik, who we're calling Machine Gun Malik, who has been relentlessly attacking NCB Zonal Chief Sameer Wankhede, who has been the face of this entire investigation. From accusing Wankhede of extortion to a fake marriage to a fake caste certificate, the NCP leader and minister has minced no words in putting Wankhede straight in the Uddhav government's crosshairs. Character number two is of course Sameer Wankhede himself. He is the chief of the NCB in Mumbai, who led the arrest of Aryan Khan. He faces extortion charges and an inquiry by his own organization, accused of seeking 25 crore rupees bribe in return for letting off Aryan Khan in the superstar drug bust case. Then you've got former Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and his wife Amrita, who are now in the crosshairs of Aghadi Minister Nawab Malik. The minister has tweeted images of both Mr. and Mrs. Fadnavis with an alleged drug peddler named Jaideep Rana. And the fourth person on your screens is former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh in the separate Haftagate story. The NCP leader is in Enforcement Directorate custody till November the 6th over charges of extortion. These two separate stories from Maharashtra involving Maharashtra politicians exploding and becoming the big political potboiler of this week. Before we proceed on the story, let's take you through the top developments we're tracking on the Maha-Haftagate case right now. Number one, Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh, who was arrested very, very early this morning after 1 a.m., has been put into custody till November the 6th. The NCP leader and former minister was arrested last night after being grilled for 12 hours. The senior NCP leader was questioned over extortion charges and his links to suspended police officer Sachin Vaze, infamous in the Antilia bomb scare case. Development number two, the Enforcement Directorate today has told India Today that Anil Deshmukh was arrested for not cooperating with the agency during his 12-hour questioning yesterday. The former Maharashtra minister claimed innocence, alleging a witch hunt by people with vested interests. Obviously, he's talking about the BJP. Meanwhile, Amarinder Singh, the former Mumbai police commissioner who had accused Home Minister Deshmukh of extortion, is apparently untraceable. A Mumbai court had issued a non-bailable warrant against Amarinder Singh last week. Remember, the Mumbai police crime branch is probing an extortion case against Amarinder Singh and the disgraced former cop Sachin Vaze. And Sachin Vaze, the suspended police officer, is currently in police custody till November the 6th. Vaze was arrested in March this year in the infamous Antilia bomb scare case first reported by India Today, where an SUV with explosives was found near industrialist Mukesh Ambani's South Mumbai residence Antilia. Now, with Anil Deshmukh already in custody, more NCP leaders are in the crosshairs of the central agencies. It's BJP versus Sharad Pawar's party, which is one of the elements in the Aghadi Sarkar. The Income Tax Department has now attached properties worth 1,000 crore rupees owned by Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra and Sharad Pawar's nephew, Ajit Pawar. Let's take you through the big Maha-dangal story one by one. Former Maharashtra Minister Anil Deshmukh is in Enforcement Directorate custody till the 6th of November. The senior NCP leader was grilled for 12 hours yesterday, and then he was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate for non-cooperation. Deshmukh is accused of money laundering and extortion, and the fingers were pointed at him by Amarinder Singh, his own police commissioner. Here's where things stand right now.
7 months after he resigned, 4 months after he was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate, former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh is arrested in the infamous Maharashtra Haftagate case. Ducking ED for months, Deshmukh had exhausted all his legal remedies after the High Court denied him relief. Around noon on Monday, Deshmukh made his first surprise appearance before the central agency in the 100 crore rupees extortion racket. He was grilled for over 12 hours. ED sources claim that Deshmukh was non-cooperative during the investigation.
100 करोड़ की वसूली के मामले में करीब 13 घंटे की लंबी पूछताछ के बाद आखिरकार महाराष्ट्र के पूर्व गृह मंत्री अनिल देशमुख को प्रवर्तन निर्देशालय ने गिरफ्तार कर लिया है। आपको बता दें, सोमवार दोपहर करीब 12 बजे अनिल देशमुख ईडी के दफ्तर में पेश हुए थे, जिसके बाद से लगातार उनसे पूछताछ की जा रही थी।
Deshmukh is accused of asking ex-cop Sachin Vaze to extort 100 crore rupees per month from dance bars and restaurants and laundering. He also allegedly asked Vaze to pay him 2 crore rupees for his reinstatement. Deshmukh is also accused of being part of a cash for transfer racket of police officers.
We will be opposing the remand on the ground that the first complainant, who was Paramveer Singh, he is not the bona fide complainant and he himself is not traceable and available. And from the office of Anil Deshmukh, none of their staff or the Anil Deshmukh have ever contact with Sachin Vaze. Okay. So therefore, question of collecting money on behalf of Anil Deshmukh does not arise.
Before Deshmukh appeared before the ED, he released a video asking about the whereabouts of former Mumbai Police Commissioner Paramveer Singh, who levelled these allegations and is currently missing.
ईडी ऑफिस में यहाँ पे आया हूँ। मेरे ऊपर जो मुंबई के एक्स पुलिस कमिश्नर थे परमवीर सिंह, उन्होंने जो आरोप किए, वो परमवीर सिंह आज कहाँ हैं?
An unsparing BJP did not hold back any punches as they went after the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi government.
100 करोड़ से अधिक के नॉन ट्रांसपेरेंट घोटाले के ट्रांजैक्शन, मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग, कैश ट्रेल। अब टेंशन उद्धव ठाकरे और शरद पवार का बढ़ेगा। अनिल देशमुख के बाद अनिल परब का नंबर लगेगा।
The investigation against Deshmukh looks set to gather pace. The ED claims it has evidence of 4.7 crore rupees being laundered by a Delhi-based shell company through an educational trust run by Deshmukh and his family in Nagpur. For Deshmukh, trouble seems to have only begun now. With Divyesh Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
So remember how we told you that Anil Deshmukh was grilled for 12 hours yesterday? It's not just that information that we have. We also have the line of questioning that the former minister, was actually subjected to by the Enforcement Directorate. So our reporters who've been speaking to their sources, including people who were actually interrogating the minister, have this report to give us. Anil Deshmukh was grilled for over 12 hours by the ED before being arrested. On India Today, we have the questions asked to the former Aghadi Home Minister. Do you know Sachin Vaze, the suspended cop? How many meetings were held with Sachin Vaze and Patil? What was discussed with Sachin Vaze and Patil? Was the extortion bid discussed in meetings? Did you give specific extortion targets to Sachin Vaze? Who donated 4.3 crore rupees to your trust, that is Anil Deshmukh's trust? How long has this alleged extortion racket been going on? Were there transfers and postings looked after by you? Who all were involved in this transfer and posting racket that is being alleged? Who all were beneficiaries of this alleged extortion racket? So these are some of the questions that were asked to the former Home Minister of Maharashtra, Anil Deshmukh. Let's go straight across now to Pankaj Upadhyay, who joins me live from outside the Sessions Court, where Anil Deshmukh has now been put into custody till November the 6th. Temperatures rising on this particular case. I mean, there are two big stories erupting in Maharashtra right now, Pankaj. But Anil Deshmukh squarely in the crosshairs now. Prominent former Home Minister of Maharashtra in custody. Break down for us what kind of trouble he's in, Pankaj.
First of all, Shiv, this is a very big story, because here's a person who's a former Home Minister of Maharashtra, and he had been said to be missing for a very long time, and yesterday he surprised everyone when he appeared, as he said, voluntarily in front of the Enforcement Directorate. And of course we know on Friday how the Bombay High Court had cancelled his petition, wherein he had said that the ED summons be cancelled against him. But he said that his petitions were pending in the courts and he was seeking legal remedies, and then there was a big conspiracy, wrong acquisitions were being put on him. And once he was shown arrested by the Enforcement Directorate, there was no end to politics as well, because we had Maharashtra BJP head Chandrakant Patil, who went to the extent of saying that this is an example of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's zero tolerance policy on corruption as well, and that now the names of the masterminds are going to come out as well. Now coming back to Anil Deshmukh. Now, even though his lawyers are saying, Anil Deshmukh himself made and tweeted a video saying that he is innocent, his life has been an open book in politics and that there have been no charges or accusations in him before. But if ED sources are to be believed, then they say that they have strong evidence against him.
Yeah.
They say that there are around 12 companies closely associated with his family, 13 to 14 companies closely associated with his near and dear ones. And these were the companies which were continuously rounding off the money that Anil Deshmukh was getting as gratification. Now, you rightly pointed out, his role with Sachin Vaze is being closely looked at. ED sources are maintaining that between December 20, February 2021, he received around 4.7 crores in cash from Sachin Vaze. And out of this money, around 4.18 crores were given to 4 Delhi-based shell companies. And these very shell companies then transferred the money to the educational trust in Maharashtra belonging to Anil Deshmukh. ED sources say that they have looked at the various bank accounts of these companies. The statements of officials have been taken, and this makes them believe that Anil Deshmukh, has been deep in this entire game, and that's why his custody.
This is a huge story. I mean, it's not often that you see a man who was Home Minister of a state until just a few months ago, who had to step down under the cloud of this entire Antilia extortion bomb scare scandal, now actually being put into custody by the Enforcement Directorate. Pankaj, thank you very much for that update. Huge story. We're the ones who broke it. All the news breaks by us, being followed by others. I promise you, we won't let you down. We will keep your head on this story. But also it's useful to remind you who the principal characters are in this huge Maha Hafta Gate potboiler. Let's break down for you the principal characters. Number 1, Sachin Vaze, familiar face. He's the disgraced, sacked Mumbai cop accused of allegedly extorting money from bars in Mumbai for ex-Aghadi Minister Anil Deshmukh. Vaze is also an accused in the Antilia bomb scare case. He allegedly killed witness Mansukh Hiren. He's facing charges for that. Vaze is currently in Mumbai police custody till November the 6th. Character number 2 is, of course, Parambir Singh. Can you imagine in this country, ladies and gentlemen, nobody knows where this guy is currently. The former Mumbai Police Commissioner who accused Anil Deshmukh, then Home Minister, of running an extortion racket. He's also accused in a separate extortion case filed by the Mumbai Crime Branch. At present, Parambir Singh, the former Police Commissioner of Mumbai, is untraceable. There have been reports about Chandigarh, Budapest, Belgium, but there is no confirmation on where he is currently. Character number 3, of course, is Anil Deshmukh, former Maharashtra Home Minister, accused of money laundering and extortion. Parambir Singh, the former police commissioner, has accused this man, basically his boss, Anil Deshmukh, asked Sachin Vaze to collect funds worth 100 crore rupees per month from bars in Mumbai. At present, Deshmukh has been sent to Enforcement Directorate custody till the 6th of November. So that's the cast of characters in this twisting and turning saga that began with an SUV right outside Mukesh Ambani's residence. So there's the Hafta Gate scandal, which we've told you about, and then there's the drug dangle, which was spawned by the entire Aryan case. A bitter war of words continues now between Maharashtra Minister Nawab Malik, or Machine Gun Malik as we're calling him, versus ex-Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and his wife Amrita. After Fadnavis vowed a bombshell expose of Machine Gun Malik's links with the underworld after Diwali, Malik has challenged the ex-Chief Minister of the BJP to prove his links with the underworld. Here's that big fiery exchange that's become totally personal now. The Maha drug dangle, a full-blown political war. The NCP's Nawab Malik and BJP's Devendra Fadnavis locking horns in public. Allegation versus counter-allegation flying thick, fast and furious. The bitter war began with this tweet by Maharashtra Minister Nawab Malik, showing one alleged drug peddler, Jaideep Rana, with ex-Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis' wife, Amrita. Malik then tweeted another image of Rana with Fadnavis himself, claiming drug peddler links of the BJP's first family in Maharashtra. Devendra Fadnavis was quick to hit back, calling the images 4 years old and a laughable bid to malign his family. On Tuesday, Malik stuck to his charge.
पूरी टीम ने हमारे साथ उस समय फोटो खिंचवाए और उस व्यक्ति को 4 साल बाद आज एनसीबी ने अरेस्ट किया। ये 4 साल पहले का फोटो है और इसके आधार पर वे संबंध जोड़ना चाहते।
कल मैंने जो भी आरोप लगाए, कोई आरोप हमने हवा में किसी पे नहीं लगाया। मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, 4 सीजन होटल में लगातार ड्रामा लेट्स प्रेडिक्ट मैच इस तरह की पार्टी का आयोजन होता रहा। 15-15 करोड़ रुपए की पार्टी का आयोजक कौन था? क्या आपको जानकारी नहीं थी?
Minister Malik then shared a YouTube video song link featuring Devendra Fadnavis and his wife Amrita Fadnavis. इसमें ही सबका भला यही वक्त की मांग है. The details in the link showed that Jaideep Rana was the financial head behind the song. Malik claimed that Jaideep Rana, who is an alleged drug peddler, had links with Devendra Fadnavis. The ex-Maharashtra Chief Minister countered it with a counter-drug kingpin jibe. In his latest salvo, Minister Malik hit back at Fadnavis, who had threatened to expose his underworld links.
अब उन्होंने एक फुलझड़ी जलाई है तो बम तो फूटेगा और दिवाली के बाद फूटेगा और दिवाली के बाद नवाब मलिक इनके अंडरवर्ल्ड के साथ क्या संबंध है, इसके सबूत मैं आपको भी दूंगा और राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी के जो अध्यक्ष है श्री शरद पवार जी, इनको भी मैं वो सबूत दूंगा।
कल देवेंद्र जी ने ये कहा कि मैं दिवाली के बाद बम फोड़ूंगा। आपको इंतजार करने की जरूरत नहीं है। कहा गया कि नवाब मलिक के अंडरवर्ल्ड कनेक्शन है। 62 साल का जीवन इसी मुंबई शहर में बीता। किसी माई के लाल में हिम्मत नहीं कि नवाब मलिक किसी अंडरवर्ल्ड से जुड़ा हुआ है, ये कभी उंगली भी उठाकर मेरे तरफ दिखा सके।
फटाक्यावर बंदी आहे, फटाके कमी वाजतायत, तुम्ही आत्ताच फोडून टाका फटाके, काय हरकत नाही। राजकारणामध्ये व्यक्तिगत लढाई असू नये, लढाई राजकीय असावी, वैचारिक असावी, भूमिकांची असावी।
Devendra Fadnavis' wife Amrita Fadnavis has also hit back, claiming that Minister Malik is targeting her to settle scores with her husband.
कैसे आ गया ये फोटो, कैसे उन्होंने कैसे स्ट्रैटेजाइज किया, जैसे किसी फिल्म का प्रमोशन होता है। पहले सिर्फ मेरा फोटो और वो उनका नाम क्या, जयदीप राणा का फोटो आगे आया, इनका इनसे रिलेशन क्या, क्वेश्चन मार्क। ये तरीका होता है, क्या रिलेशन है। नवाब मलिक तो खुद को बचाने कई बार फोन उठाते हैं, फोन उठा के पूछ लेते थे, बता देते थे क्या रिलेशन है।
What started as the Aryan Khan drug bust case to an attack on Sameer Wankhede, it has all degenerated now into an all-out political fight between the Aghadi Sarkar and the BJP in Maharashtra. Bureau Report, India Today. And Captain Amarinder Singh has now resigned from the Congress party. He had rejoined the Congress party in 1997. He has now written a 7-page letter to Sonia Gandhi, the interim president of the Congress party. And in typically emotional and angry terms, he has lashed out at Navjot Singh Sidhu, at Sonia Gandhi herself, and at Rahul and Priyanka, not to speak of the many other underlings of the Congress party like Harish Rawat, Randeep Singh Surjewala and others. He's called his political party the Punjab Lok Congress. Captain Amarinder Singh has christened his party the Punjab Lok Congress, and he has also pointed an angry finger explicitly at Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. Punjab Lok Congress, you're hearing it first here on India Today, is the name of the new party floated by Amarinder Singh. Manjeet Sehgal breaking the story first as always here on India Today. With me live, Punjab Lok Congress, as we had expected and reported earlier too, is the name of the new political formation floated by Amarinder Singh. Manjeet, give us the details.
Yes, Shiv, Captain Amarinder Singh has now revealed the name of his party. That will be Punjab Lok Congress. Captain also says that he had suggested 3 symbols. 3 were suggested by the Election Commission of India itself. So there are symbols, out of which 1 symbol will be chosen by the Election Commission of India and is formally waiting the approval from the Election Commission of India. And then the constitution of this party and other formalities will be completed. So Captain Amarinder Singh has now made it public that the name of his party will be Punjab Lok Congress. And in Shiv, in a resignation letter sent to Sonia Gandhi, Captain Amarinder Singh has attacked Gandhi siblings Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, accused them of patronizing Navjot Singh Sidhu. He also directly attacks Navjot Singh Sidhu, that Navjot Singh Sidhu has been using vile and disrespectful language against him, despite the fact that he was of his father's age, but he never respected him. Captain also says that Sonia Gandhi must be regretting her decision to appoint Navjot Singh Sidhu as Punjab Congress chief. So Captain Amarinder Singh has now made it public and will be launching his party soon after he gets this symbol and nod from the Election Commission of India. Shiv.
You know, I just want to read out some of the most, the most hard-hitting lines from this letter that you've accessed, Manjeet, where he says, the most egregious act was the midnight conspiracy carried out against me at your and your children's behest by calling a Congress legislature party meeting over my head in the dead of night. This is an incredibly sensitive letter, Manjeet. I don't think we have read a letter of this level and with this much anger and accusatory tone in the recent past in our politics. Amarinder Singh clearly has nothing left to lose. He's on mission to destroy the Congress now.
Yes, indeed, Chief Captain Amarinder Singh has been telling every interviewer that he was humiliated like this without giving any information to him. The all-party meeting and other meetings were called. He felt humiliated. He has spent 52 years in the politics but never faced a humiliation like this that was done at the behest of Navjot Singh Sidhu, who, according to Captain Amarinder Singh's pro-Pakistan, he hugged the Pakistan Army chief, and he also mentions that 80 soldiers who belonged to Punjab were martyred during his regime as the chief minister. So he is now continuously attacking Navjot Singh Sidhu, who, according to him, has been using vile and disrespectful language publicly and privately as well.
Yeah.
So Captain Amarinder Singh has now made it clear his plans, his name of his party, and he will soon be launching his party, as he has been telling in all the interviews that he was he has talking with the Bharatiya Janata Party on seat sharing and other issues. So Captain Amarinder Singh's party's name has now been made public, Punjab Lok Congress.
Yeah.
Captain and his supporters are now formally waiting the nod from the Election Commission of India. Captain had also claimed that many Congress leaders were in touch with him, but they were not coming publicly to support him, as the party has yet to be announced. As now Captain Amarinder Singh has announced the name of his party. What remains to be seen, how many of the sitting MPs are seen with him. This will be interesting to note, Shiv.
With me, very quick break. Big story breaking here on India Today. We're coming right back to this after this break. Punjab Lok Congress, you've heard it first here on India Today, is the new party floated by Amarinder Singh. Full details when you come back.